So we're standing here inside of one of Benny's Airbnbs in Mooloolaba, endless summer. It's nice to get back in here and check it out after a few years, hey?
Man, I can't believe it. The last time you and I were here, we were pretty drunk. I'm not gonna lie. It was for a work Christmas party almost 3 years ago now. It's crazy.
Seriously, with COVID and like the turbulent times with Airbnb and stuff like that, you know, it's surprising that we haven't been able to get back in here. But it's looking awesome. Like, it's really good to see everything's been maintained extremely well.
You know, that is one of the things I love about Airbnb. The property's getting cleaned twice a week. You've got a gardener, you've got a pool guy. And because of the wear and tear on the property, you sort of do maintain it a little bit nicer.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously doing this type of short-term rental accommodation like Airbnb is not something that we talk about online ever. And that is because it is quite a risky strategy. Would you agree?
Massively. Like at one point during COVID, people stopped traveling for like a year. And so like financially, it was very, very difficult to go from spending a lot of money on a place, fully decking it out, to put a regular tenant in the joint for $700 a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess what motivated you to kind of implement a unique strategy like this? Because it is different to our bread and butter.
You know, I'd sort of gone through the process of renovations, of knocking down, rebuilding houses, granny flats,
units,
subdivisions, and a whole lot of stuff, right? And I'd built a foundation for my portfolio of, 3 houses and 3 granny flats that I hope in the future will give me about 150 grand of income when I own them outright. And because I am genuinely passionate about property, like there's some people that work with us that, just stumble into property because it's a good way to invest. But for me, it's like I stumbled into property because I'm obsessed with it. And my wife's an interior designer. So we've got the properties we need long-term, but we still love this stuff.
Yeah.
And we decided to try something different, and it's been a hell of a gamble, I'll say that.
Yeah, but like it seems as though it's worked out for you with your skill set of identifying markets, suburbs, your ability to negotiate, your relationships with people in the industry like builders to make something like this. Then Lisa's unique skill set as well with being able to turn it into this beautiful trendy place with that interior design. It's like lifestyle and your just passions naturally led to this type of strategy as well.
We have a young family. I've got 3 kids and we caravan a lot, but we also love staying in like trendy little Airbnbs that are sort of different to our home. And one of the things that we wanted to create was like a place that we would be stoked to stay. So there's plenty of really cool Airbnbs, but when you bring the tornado of the kids through the joint, you're always scared of fucking them up.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to create something that felt nice, that was reasonably priced for people. And I think we've done that. Like we could have spent a lot more money decking the place out with nicer stuff, but we didn't have to. Like the furnishing is beautiful. Like I walk in here and I'm like, why haven't I stayed here? Like, you know what I mean?
I actually have, yeah. I stayed in here in the early days for like a week and just like worked from the granny flat and loved it. It was so sick, like waking up, going for a swim every morning and then just going down to the beach for a quick little surf because we're literally, what would you say, like a K and a half as the crow flies?
Yeah, like as the crow flies, even less than.
Yeah. No, it's pretty exciting to see that like once you have built the foundations, once you have, done over a decade's worth of work in the industry, you kind of find that confidence. And I feel as though I can relate to that because my foundations that I'm holding in my property right now are your stock standard properties, your big capital cities, going for capital growth long term, trying to manufacture some cash flow, try and manufacture some growth there as well, time the markets correctly. But now I've got that portfolio and I'm, 6 years into my journey about learning about property investing. Even my mind started to think about these different opportunities. And it's like, I didn't have the mental capacity to think about that at the beginning and it wasn't the right option for me. But as you get more experience, correct me if I'm wrong, you find the ability to be a little bit, I would call it risky.
Yeah, I mean, you've said this to me off camera heaps of times. It's like, it's fucking high risk, right?
Yeah, high risk, but can be high reward.
Hopefully, like I'm still waiting for the reward, but apparently, Airbnb can do well on.
Yeah.
But it's like this concept of like figuring out where you sit, right? So one of the best things that's happened to me, but also my biggest mistake as an investor was my life was pretty like simple. And so I wanted to make investing the thing that I was learning about, that I was trying, that I was doing, that was creative, that was outside the box. And so as soon as I'd figured out how to renovate, I wanted to learn to build. As soon as I'd built, I wanted to build dual lock. As soon as I'd done that, I wanted to renovate and granny, then subdivide, then Airbnb, then duplex. And it's like, looking back now, a really simple strategy. Like, you've got to decide where you sit on the coin of like, you know, if I was doing it all again, I don't think I would have done it the way that I have, but I don't know any better. There was no other option for me. Where like for you, you've learned from my experiences and you're like, I'm not buying units because I know they don't perform. I'm not buying regional. I'm buying places at the right time, in the right suburb, in the right street, with the right potential for growth, with great cash flow, with good tax benefits longer term once you do what you want to do. And it's like, you didn't have to, like, you have an exciting life. Like, why do you need a crazy, exciting portfolio?
100%, man. And that's been that plan in the beginning, is just focus on those things. And that sounds like a lot, but that is just the fundamentals of property investing. You want all of those things with your first couple of
Plus
properties.
about 100 others, but we'll talk about them in other videos.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it is really interesting to see how, you know, that journey of your investment life has gone. And, you know, I agree, like, it is easy to create not easy, but there's ways to create a strategy that are a lot simpler and will get you to where you want to be a lot quicker. But when you find a passion for something, you want to like entertain that passion.
100%. Like, I walk in here and I'm like, I'm really proud of this place. And, you know, when we show you guys around it as well, like, you can take a little bit of a sticky beak and stuff, and the photos are online. But in reality, it's not netting much more than it would if I just rented it out fully furnished. Like, there's a lot of costs in Airbnb that I kind of didn't expect. Like, Airbnb takes a big cut, cleaners, pool people, gardening people, Wi-Fi, you're paying for the electricity, the water, the rates, all the insurances that are way higher than a normal property.
You wear all those costs.
You know, Netflix, Stan, like all of that sort of stuff. So looking at it, like, last year was my first full year where I just kind of went, okay, where did it end out? And it ended out good, but just above, like, you know, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. No. Like, I'm getting management for a bit of a steal and some other things that other people wouldn't get to. So I would say, like, Airbnb is very niche. It works in a handful of suburbs in every state properly. Some states are really cracked down on it recently, like New South Wales is hating Airbnb.
Brisbane City Council not liking it as much as at the moment as well. But like, Sunny Coast, it's a tourist destination. You know, it kind of works up here, and you're in Mooloolaba, which is the Sunshine Coast, really.
Exactly. So, you know, it's one of those things that I've really, really enjoyed. I do like walking in here compared to some of my other properties and going, I'm looking after my asset. Like, it looks good, it feels good. You know, it gets repainted every couple of years. Like, there's quite a bit of maintenance that goes into it. But yeah, I'm really grateful that I've tried it. I've got another few properties like this one that aren't in this condition that I'd like to have a go at in the future. But again, in the back of my mind, I'm always like, well, worst case, they're good sized pieces of land in the right suburbs. They've been well timed. They will get long-term growth. They do get good cash flow. And if I have to put them back to the normal market fully furnished with internet, I should end up in a good position, and it's not going to massively affect my financial freedom goal if I have to go that way down the line. So you need a plan B with this stuff too.
Yeah, as with any investment strategy, you need to do your risk management and make sure that you've covered all bases so that you can, you know, achieve your goals in life.
Fully, but it is fun to do some creative stuff, and that's the cool thing about getting past foundation and going, you know, when's enough is a question that I never asked myself when I was, you know, going past foundation. Like, maybe I've got a property or two now that I don't necessarily need for the future, so I'll flog them off for a profit. But when you love this stuff and it's your passion and it's your day-to-day and you see opportunities all the time, like we get for our clients, it's just, it's how I want to live my life, and I'm grateful to be in the game, in the arena.
For sure, man. No, it's great to come back in here and show everybody a little bit about what you do as well. But like, this isn't necessarily our bread and butter. What we prefer to do for ourselves and our clients is actually, you know, investing in residential property throughout Southeast Queensland, but we do see the most value in Brisbane at the moment. And what we do with every single one of our clients is just hold their hand through the process of purchasing an investment property. Now, if you're somebody that's thinking that they want to purchase an investment property, then we'd love to offer you a free strategy session. To do so, you can head over to our website, pumpedonproperty.com, and follow the free strategy session links to lock in a call with myself, Benny, or our sister Crystal. And what we'll do during that strategy session is get to know one another a little better. We'll talk about where you're at right now, where you're looking to be in the future. We can provide you with a detailed market update for the Australian property market and help you connect the dots from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. And then you can take that info and go and smash it yourself, or become one of the few clients that we do work with each month. But anyway, man, I'm stoked to see this place, and thanks for sharing some info on it.
No problems. Cheers, guys.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Getting cool,
bro.
Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. Look at that.
So nice, eh?
Oh.